Okay, so I have Aisha Travis here today, and she's going to talk to us about her military experience. Aisha, what can you tell us about your military experience?
Well, it was different. It's I have a lot of military family, so they only told me about the exercising and it being yelled at. They didn't tell me the mental aspect of it or the loneliness and the homesickness and stuff like that.
And what branch did you serve?
Army.
Okay. How old were you when you served?
Wow. 30 years ago. Jeez. Look at this interview. Wow. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
30 years ago.
And well, what was your position?
I had two MOSs. One was medic, combat medic,
Uh-huh.
which was 95 Bravo, and one was medical, which is 76 Juliet.
Okay.
But everything's changed now. They changed them all up. So I don't know what they call them now, but
So you were strictly medical in there?
yes, medical unit. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alrighty. What was the primary motivation to make you join?
I think I bought into the Montgomery GI Bill,
And what is that?
where they said if you serve 4 years, they'll pay for college, which was not true.
Oh, they didn't?
No, so what happens is they sell that to the people so they can sign up. And then once you're done with the 4 years, they give you a list of colleges that you can apply for, which are like colleges you could have stayed home and did, or community colleges. And the waiting list, by the time the military, so first you take the scholars,
Mm-hmm.
then you take the academics,
Okay.
and it's, and then whatever's left, the military can choose from, which is usually nothing left but liberal arts. That's why it takes military people longer to graduate than the average person.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so, So I bought into that, but it was not true.
Okay. And did you do any schooling after service?
Yeah, I went to college after service.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you mentioned that you had family in the military. Were
Mhm.
they also Army, or what were they in?
Everyone is Army for some reason.
Okay. Okay. Did you have a certain rank?
Yeah, so I was a specialist, which was E4.
What does a specialist do?
Yeah. Tell everybody that's under them what to do, and listen to what everybody over them tell them to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you say you were working in the medical part, so were you tending to just like injured people, or was it more like a little hospital type?
So okay, so first you do your basic training. So you do that at a military base. And from there you go whatever MOS, which is the whatever course or whatever your specialty going to be.
Okay.
Then you go wherever they teach that. So I went medical. So the United States Army only has one training place in the entire country for medical,
Really?
which is Fort Sam Houston, which is in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have nurses can go to other places, but as far as like the medics and everybody else, you would have to go to Fort Sam Houston.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. So, and where were you stationed at again?
Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri,
Missouri.
for basic training,
Mm-hmm.
and Fort Sam Houston in Austin, Texas, for the MOS.
Okay.
Okay.
How far out would they move people or station them?
It depends on what the training is.
Okay.
My dad was in Colorado,
Oh.
and he's from New York, but he was a screaming eagle.
Okay.
101st Airborne. He was airborne, paratrooper. Now my cousin, she's a lieutenant colonel right now. She's actually just retired.
Mm-hmm.
She, you name it, they sent her.
Really?
You know what I mean? So it usually depends on where you're training at before you finish. Then after you finish is where the need is the most for your specialty.
Okay.
Okay?
You mentioned in the beginning that nobody told you about what you were gonna experience with the homesickness and things like that. So how was it transitioning from civilian to service member?
Oh, it was difficult. In the beginning, it was difficult.
Yeah.
You know, I was in like my early 20s. So for the kids that were like 18, 19, it was even harder for a lot of them.
Right.
You know, because a lot of them had never been away from home. I don't think anyone was used to somebody standing in their face screaming at them, and, you know, and
Yeah.
eating slop.
Yeah.
You know, but yes, it was a lot of emotional changes going on.
Now, did they have like social workers and people to help with that?
If you went to them, you might as well kill yourself because you're going to be going home. So you know, you talk to your friends about it, and you work through it. You grow up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Basically, you grow up because nobody's going to wipe your nose there.
Yeah.
You know, but
so they didn't really have much resources for people to.
If you needed those type of resources, you're not strong enough to be there.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
We did talk about that in class the other night. How long were you deployed or away from home and family?
The longest,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say 9 months.
Okay.
Mm.
And was that just one time? Like, how many times were you deployed?
So after I finished all of my MOS, my AIT,
Mm-hmm.
I went reserves. So reserves belongs to the state, whereas the Army is the government.
Okay.
So there is no basic training for reserves.
Okay.
So they have to train with the Army.
Army.
Right. And then once you finish your AIT, which is your schooling,
Mm-hmm.
which you pick your MOS, and you after basic training, you go to AIT, which is the MOS.
Right.
After that, you go home for a little while, and then they send you off for where you belong. If the regular for Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines.
Okay.
But if you National Guard, you go back home to your state, and you go 1 week in a month, 2 weeks in the winter, 2 weeks in the summer, or whenever you deploy.
Mm-hmm.
So the longest I was deployed would have been 9 months.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about how the military had anything to do with the different roles of employment that you have now? Because you have had and you do still have many different
Right.
areas that you work.
So that's another thing that's kind of hard for military people because they give you this fantastic title.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, a garbage man as a civilian in the military would be a custodial engineer. Good luck going on a job interview as a custodial engineer.
Right.
You know, so as a medic, the military trains you to save lives. But because my training was only designed for the military, when I came home, I was able to become an EMT.
Okay.
And so, so I guess you're right. The military kind of gave me my head start in life because each job led into the other job. So I started out as the EMT, right? Military related, right? And then from EMS, I went to corrections, right? And while I was in corrections, I was in college.
Right.
And I was in college for the mortuary science. And from mortuary science, I became a funeral director and, did my father's funeral, which was not suggested. So went into the depression behind that, got in a deeper level of mental illness, understanding of mental illness. And so as a result of that, I decided to switch careers into the mental health field. So now I work with veterans, and I try to give back what I can when I can. Yeah. So I guess I didn't realize that until you said that it literally gave me my head start. That's something I never heard myself say that before.
Well, there you go. We both learned something new.
Okie dokie.
All right. Well, thank you, Aisha, for helping me out in the class.
Okay.
All right.
And kumbaya. Get out of my office. Bye, guys.